So, Brad, we're going to jump to the SEC, specifically the SEC East, and what we thought was going to be a marquee matchup for the SEC East title. Georgia takes care of business soundly last week against Ole Miss. I wish we could have picked that game, but here we are. The number one Georgia Bulldogs go on the road to take on the number 18 Tennessee Volunteers. This is a 3:30 kickoff on CBS, so get ready, Gary fans. Gary Danielson's probably going to call this game. ESPN gives Georgia a 69.3% chance to win this game, and I believe Georgia currently favored by 10. Now, keep in mind this. I believe the spread started at 10.5 at the beginning of this week. It's gone down a little bit. Maybe Vegas knows something that we don't. Brad, I'll hand it over to you. Two quarterbacks going at it. We thought Joe Milton was gonna be a little bit more dynamic this year, but obviously he hasn't really stepped up to the plate. Carson Beck has just been getting better and better each week. I'll hand it over to you, Brad. Who wins this SEC East rivalry game?
This is a fun one. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? Georgia's peaking at the right time. They are playing just so hot right now. And Nate, I want to say to college football fans, don't judge a schedule by the preseason because everyone assumed Georgia's schedule was going to be so easy. And look, Missouri played this team very, very tightly. I know Georgia just decimated Ole Miss, but Ole Miss is a quality team, and then Tennessee. So Georgia's had a little 3-week gauntlet here, and ending this Saturday in Knoxville. This one's interesting to me. I think Georgia's going to be challenged. I think this is a team that they are finally healthy, and we're seeing that. I mean, a healthy running game. Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton are explosive. Lad McConkey is playing great, and then the best player in the country, Brock Bowers, back last week. And what does he do? Doesn't have, I mean, he catches 3 passes, but he gets a touchdown and just completely worked the secondary for that touchdown. So Georgia is starting to get healthy. And we're seeing Carson Beck, who I'm not saying he should be in New York for the Heisman in a couple weeks, but his name is in the hat for sure. He is playing unbelievable. I would argue is having just as good a season as Stetson Bennett had the past 2 years. Nate, the story for me is Tennessee's injuries. Thornton, the receivers, hurt. They lost Brew McCoy. Tennessee lost one of their top defensive backs. Look, Tennessee's going to be up for this game. Neyland's going to be rocking on Saturday. I think it's very, very close for about 3 quarters, and I think Georgia's depth and physicality just start to take over. I think Tennessee's going to challenge them because Tennessee's got a good running game. Tennessee's got a very, very good running game this year, and Joe Milton can make some plays with his legs, and Georgia has struggled at times to stop the run. I think it's close. I think 10 points is fair. I think the Bulldogs win in the second half. I think they win in the fourth quarter. But Tennessee's going to challenge them for sure.
Yeah, Brad. One thing that's really impressed me over the last couple of weeks is Georgia's run game. This is something that we talked about early on in the season as being a disappointment. We know they had a lot of injuries. Branson Robinson goes down with I think he tore his Achilles or something like that. They've struggled tremendously on offense and defense with injuries. Some freshmen have really stepped up on Georgia's defense. That's impressed me a lot too. Dejon Edwards is just having an amazing season.
Mm-hmm.
692 yards, 10 touchdowns. And that's to compliment Carson Beck's 3,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. On the other side, Jalen Wright has struggled this year. I know he's put up 848 yards, which is really good, but only 3 touchdowns. You would think that'd be a little bit higher. Squirrel White, 609 yards receiving, only 2 touchdowns. You talk about the injuries to Tennessee. And Joe Milton, he has tremendous arm strength, but those intermediate passes and trying to fit it in to coverage, he's struggled tremendously. 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, only 2,200 yards. I think this is going to be a rough day for Tennessee. I think Georgia feels disrespected, only being favored by 10 points, and I think that's going to be rat poison for Kirby to get his guys even more motivated. Lad McConkey's getting more and more healthy. Brock Bowers is getting healthy again. I would put Georgia by 15.5 in this one. I really do believe, even on the road in Knoxville, I think it's going to be close for 1 quarter. I think after that, if Georgia plays the way they've been playing, I think they could easily beat this team by 30 points. But I'll put it at 15.5 for now. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they run away with this one pretty quickly and take care of business to move forward. They got Georgia Tech next week, and then they got to face Alabama in the SEC title game. We're going to get into that later. But for now, give me the Bulldogs in Knoxville by 15.5. That concludes today's episode. When we come back next time, we're going to discuss our Week 12 recap and break down our Week 13 game day previews and predictions. You won't want to miss out. We've got some great rivalry matchups coming up next week. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Follow us on all socials at breakthehuddle_. And be sure to turn on your bell notifications to stay up to date when we post our latest videos. And let us know in the comments who you believe will win this week's matchup. From Break the Huddle Studios, this is Nathan and Brad signing off.